here at Memphis Motorsports Park under our fourth caution of the day. Let's take a look at our Holiday Inn Express race summary. And going to be some interesting statistics popping up on this screen. We have had 3 different leaders and 3 lead changes. We've also only got right now 5 cars on the lead lap. There's our average speed, which is a lot better than last year. And there are the 5 on the lead lap. We've only run 24 laps under caution. Remember, it was 117 total last year. 7 cars are out of the race.
You see, in the 9 car, cleaning off these tires. I think that's what happened to the 9 car. He didn't clean his tires off. He built up a lot of rubber, and it took him a couple laps to at least get that car to turn.
Get a shout out to Austin Dillon. Got back in the lead lap right now. He's running 5th. Ruderman's the next guy in line to get the lucky dog if the caution comes again.
All right, it is Edwards, Logano, Miller, Kenny Wallace, and Austin Dillon. That's your top 5 and the only 5 on the lead lap as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here at Memphis. Bliss 2 laps down on the inside there in the number 1. He was trying to get out in front, but boy, it didn't happen for him. Landon Castle's underneath him as well, and Carl Edwards shot on by.
I'll tell you what, these guys are doing a good job settling in right now. And those guys on those 4 tires, look at this 3 wide down the front straightaway.
That's Clint Boyer, your championship points leader. The last thing he needs is to get tangled up with Cale Gale on the 33 or the 9 of Chase Miller.
I'll tell you what, Clint Boyer's on a mission right now to try to get some time back, get back in this lead lap. He's going for a championship, and right now he's in trouble.
Boyer is 18th, and he's 3 laps down, Shannon.
Well, Dan Darienhoff came over the radio. He said, you know, if you're getting tighter, it could be the tires. He actually got down off the pit box and took a look at all the tires that had come off of Clint Boyer's car on that last pit stop. But this car is no good, just plowing and tight all day long.
Well, Shannon, you would have thought that he got this car better, but it looks like they can't get the thing fixed. But, man, you wouldn't know that by his driving style because he is very aggressive out there trying to get back what he can get.
And that's something, he can burn that right front up. You know, the harder he turns that thing through the center of the corner.
And heck, we thought Richard Childress is in Atlanta. He's here at the track.
That's right.
On top of the hauler, watching Austin, watching the rest of his cars. Hey, this guy cares. He got in the trip and came all the way over here to watch this thing.
Meanwhile, take a look up front as Mike Bliss trying to get one of his 2 laps back. He is right on the back bumper of the 60 of Carl Edwards. That's Landon Castle in the 5 car, running 3rd in line, but he is 2 laps down in 8th.
Give a shout out to Landon. He's done a great job.
Well, I tell you, there is some racing going on in the middle part of this race, this pack. These guys are beating and banging, trying to get all the positions they can about right from there on back. Unbelievable.
Jason Leffler as he takes a look underneath the 81 to DJ Kennington. That is not for position. Kennington a lot further back. Here comes Stephen Wallace in the 66. James Busher right behind him. Stephen is 13th, 2 laps down. Busher is 3 laps down in 20th.
And I'll tell you, this thing goes all the way back to the start of this race when those guys, when that caution flag came out around lap 20-something, mid-20s, those guys that stayed out got overhauled. And the guys that pitted, they just drove around this field and lapped everybody, put everybody a lap down. That's what set up this whole mess.
Well, I mean, every crew chief on the board is like, okay, the last 3 years have been nothing but caution flags on top of caution flags. We don't want to use our tires early. But boy, oh boy, these guys are looking like heroes that put them on early now.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I mean, you would have never believed that this would have happened because, I mean, a lot of drivers down there were talking about just staying out on tires.
Take a look at the 18. Remember, Mark Davis had that wonderful qualifying effort as he qualified 4th here in his rookie debut at age 18. But it has been a bit of a struggle now as the race has progressed. He's 4 laps down in 28th position.
You know, I've been watching him, and he's been, you know, can't say he's been dropping like a rock, but he's been dropping like a rock.
He's been falling back, but, you know, you can't really lay it on him because a lot of this problem started earlier in this pit sequence,
yes,
and Mark got off.
Laps,
but,
right.
Hey, guys, let me say one good positive thing about him. Look at this. There's
clean.
not a dent on this race car, and that's good.
And last year we couldn't say that. There were only 3, I think, that survived the entire race. But this has been a totally different race than the last 2 years. 25 cautions last year, 16 the year before. Right now, we are at 4. And the fewest we've ever had here at Memphis is 7. I hope I didn't jinx us. There's your top 5. Don't forget to tune into ESPN2 tonight at 7 p.m. for NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Happy Hour. And our calendar continues tonight on ESPN Classic as the IndyCar Series Gold Coast IndyCar 300 is at 10:30 Eastern. Then NASCAR Now is on ESPN2 tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And the Sprint Cup Series Atlanta, the chase begins at 1 o'clock on ABC. And then NASCAR Now returns to wrap up the weekend events tomorrow night, 10 Eastern on ESPN2. A full weekend of racing action for you on the ESPN family of networks. Right now, it is Carl Edwards out in front by 2.4 seconds over Joey Logano. And then third is Kenny Wallace, another 0.4 of a second behind Logano.
And he is coming. Kenny is coming. You would think he's on the Border Patrol looking, running to catch an illegal.
Man, he is flying. I tell you what, he's been wearing out Logano big time, and got to be happy for Kenny. You know, had a big struggle the last couple of years, and I can't tell you, this car is one of the best cars out there, but man, he's driving it like it's the best one out there. This thing is flying.
He's all pumped up. He raced real good at Peevely last week.
Shannon, you've got more on the 28 car.
Well, Kenny Wallace was turning some of the fastest laps on the track. One thing to keep in mind, he is on fresher tires in the 20 and the 60. He came down on lap 152, took 4 tires, maintained his track position, but it was something that happened very early on in this race that has, in essence, gotten Kenny Wallace to where he is right now. Early on, he came down, thought he had a flat, took 4 tires, and of course, that was when he got on sequence with all the other drivers that took 4 tires when they just ran away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, and you've got to remember that all these other guys, you mentioned a good point there, lap 152, the 2 guys in front of him pitted on lap 127. So now Carl Edwards and Joey have the same situation in reverse.
That's right. Kenny go up there and take the lead. He'll be all pumped up. I tell you, these 3 guys have been racing the last 15 laps.
Oh, man, they've been bumper to bumper, beating the heck out of each other.
Well, you wouldn't believe it, but you got the 88 of Keselowski in there. He is running in the 19th position. He was duking it out with Bobby Hamilton Jr. right there. Here he goes underneath Jason Leffler.
At the beginning of the race, we heard Tony Sr. say it was a 22 car, and it wasn't the 22 of Jared Johnson. It was the 27. Jason Keller got into the back of him.
Brad Keselowski right now is 3 laps down. Jason Leffler and David Stremme and David Reagan are 2 laps down behind them, and they are struggling over space. In the meantime, Carl Edwards up front just having a great day, but he's not really outrunning everybody big time. He's just got the track position right now, guys.
He's about a 1/10 of a second quicker than Joey, and I think if Kenny could get by Joey, Kenny has something for him.
Well, that last lap of the top 5, Edwards was the quickest by 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, but it keeps going back and forth, Marty. I've been watching the same thing you're saying. I mean, it goes from 0.2 of a second faster to even to slower. Looks like he's altering his line, trying to figure out what's going on out there, but looks now like the race. Oh, we got a lot of smoke down in
left front brake.
Landon Castle got into the bump into turn 3. It can destabilize the car like we talked about. He gathered it up.
Old Tim Brewer, he's going to have to call a shock specialist and tell him how to do it.
Landon, as he continues with a nice save there. He's running in 8th. He is 2 laps down. The second car 2 laps down. Right now, the top 5 is Edwards, Logano, Kenny Wallace, Austin Dillon, and Chase Miller. Then the first car 1 lap down is the 99 and only car 1 lap down of David Rudiman. And then it is Mike Bliss, Landon Castle, Cale Gale, Stephen Wallace. That rounds out your top 10. They are all 2 down.
When this thing started, I bet you we could have went to the casino and put on bets. I think we all would have lost our shirts.
The only one that's winning right now is our producer, James Shifton, said we're going to have at the most 9 cautions. I told him last night he's crazy. He might win this thing.
Brad Keselowski goes underneath Clint Boyer. That was for position, as Brad and Clint are both 3 laps down. So Brad is now 18th. Boyer is 19th.
And every time Boyer passes a car, it's points. I mean, he's gaining points. He can't get any better because he's 3 laps down. So, man, it's going to be a tough road to hoe here for him.
So, and Brad is the first car, 3 laps down, as those two continue around this racetrack, the 3/4 mile layout here at Memphis Motorsports Park. There's your top 5 as we've completed 183 of 250. Stay with us, it's still not over yet.